What's going on, everyone? Thank you for tuning in to another edition of Conversation with Pops. Solomon, I'm here with my two OGs. I'm here with my Uncle Jason, and I'm here with Pops, guys. How you guys doing today?
No, I'm doing real well. Having a little electronic difficulty, but I'll get it together. I'm doing real good. How you doing, Mr. Salamander? Hello? Am I breaking? Am I breaking up?
Nah, he don't froze up.
That's that Spectrum internet.
Yeah, yeah. Tell nephew he needs to stop trying to use that McDonald's Wi-Fi, man, and
Right.
go ahead and pay for his own, man.
Right. He using his neighbor's shit.
Look, we got a lot of things to talk about, man. First thing we're going to talk about the midterms. Everything have racked up around Tuesday. We got some winners, some of them. We still got to wait a little bit longer, but I don't know much about them. But I'm going to kick the table off and leave the floor to you guys about the midterms. Anything you want to say about the midterms and any controversial topics or anything like that?
I mean, there ain't a whole lot to be said about them other than, you know what I'm saying, it's what was expected. But, any of us who follows the news cycle notice the trend that happened. Like, I'll say maybe about a week and a half, almost a full 2 weeks before the actual midterm. The news cycles, like for example, Fox News, they started taking a sharp turn of talking about how much of a red wave we were going to see, and red wave, and how big of an election was supposed to be for the Republicans. And then afterwards, it came to the point where it's like, oh, well, it wasn't as big as we thought it was going to be. It's like they're trying to take away from their own victory, because right behind that, they turned around and started talking about Trump. Like, oh, well, the reason we didn't do as good as we thought we was going to do is because of Trump. Man, look, the Republicans did exactly what they needed to do and set out to do. They put Nancy Pelosi out of a job. That number one. They have control. They're going to have control of the Congress. And once we get through all this cheating, they'll more than likely have control of the Senate as well. But, the country's on hold because we got a couple states who don't know how to run their election. And I'm about to turn it over to you, Pops, but I just want to say on that note, come on, y'all. This Arizona stuff is the exact reason why people are mistrustful of our election. Period. Why is this woman even allowed to, like they said, she should have recused herself. She running the elections, one of the people in charge of running elections, and we got all these problems. And then if she become the winner, we're supposed to ignore the fact that she ran a sloppy election and became the winner at the end. And then if she loses, they're going to say, I don't know. I think it's a lose-lose situation for Carrie Lake and this Katie Hobbs. The more and more I learn about it, I'm like, this is some open bullcrap. There's no way these elections should be running like that. And if she become the winner from it, that's some bullcrap.
I definitely agree. I mean, there's no way that you can have. That's just like you got two football teams, and the Raiders got their own referees. I mean, it just makes no sense up front. She should have been forced to recuse herself when she threw her hat in the ring. But as far as Trump goes and the results so far, I do see out there in Arizona, that's going to. I think that was going to be the sticking issue. Florida, Georgia, Georgia's interesting. Well, Georgia's very interesting. Basically, in Georgia, you have two black men up against each other, as in Herschel Walker, and what is it? Why not? Is that how you pronounce it?
Warnock.
Warnock. One's a pastor, One's an ex-football player. One thing that I'm a little disappointed in Herschel Walker, and I feel like he would have done a lot better. Like for one, when the scandal or what they tried to make a scandal came out as far as the him having the ladies get paid for some abortions or what have you. Um, that's one thing that the Republicans, or the right or whatever you want to label them as, do believe in, and that is Christianity. And if you ask for forgiveness, they will forgive you. So if he just admitted it that yes, I did this, I believe he would have made out a whole lot better than trying to just deny it. I think that was a big mistake in his campaign. But the runoff, I am a little nervous of the runoff. I mean, one bright spot going in for Herschel Walker is that Stacey Adams has lost for a second time. So I don't see her being active at all in the runoff election the way she was um, 2 years ago. So that'll be a plus for Herschel. Uh, that's just going to be a toss up. Republicans normally come out more so for runoffs. Maybe that'll happen again. That'll put it at 50-50 almost. You still got Arizona. Arizona's just, that one right there is, I mean, twice in a row. Who knows how many times? But I'll tell
Well,
you, biggest
it,
thing
it
I've
goes
seen.
it goes to prove the fact of what the lady talking about out there in Arizona, though. You know what I'm saying? Like they want to call her election denier and all these other things. Listen, I don't care how many names you call a person; it doesn't make their message any less relevant if the message is real. And what she's saying, and what a lot of individuals were saying back when the time was happening before they were taken off of social medias, is that stuff was messed up in Arizona. They
It
went
was.
through a whole investigation and they showed all the different stuff. That was the whole thing that was wrong with the election in general, in my opinion, is that I don't dig this whole, hey, this is the safest, most securest election in the world, and then we turn around and they run investigations and then they start finding, or first they're like, there's no fraud. There's no fraud. This is the safest, most secure elections that we've ever had. And then when they start finding all these different instances of fraud in different states and different areas, then it's, well, that's not enough to overturn anything,
Right.
or that's
Yeah.
not enough to overturn
Well,
this, or that's not
to
enough
me,
to overturn that.
to me,
Which one
one
is
is
it?
too many. To me, one is enough because if anything, if you can prove it once, in my world, you multiply it by a million. You understand what I'm saying? So, that whole argument they throw out there, I've had a good friend of mine, he uses that one talking about the amount of fraud that's found is so minute that it wouldn't change anything. Well, hell, to me, any amount of fraud is justification for questioning the whole situation. Whether it's once, twice, 20 times, or 10,000 times. If somebody can get away with fraud one time, there's no telling how many times it's been gotten away with. But I tell you one thing that did come out of the midterms, and I like everybody to keep an eye on this. Ron DeSantis, he kicked ass in Florida. Ron DeSantis is a candidate that the establishment can get behind. So now the question is going to be, is Donald Trump going to be willing to sit back and support DeSantis and win the election, or is he going to try to fight him for it?
It ain't even about to come down to that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, look, we mentioned this on a couple podcasts, uh, and we had brought it up as far as there's no way. Look, Trump gonna play his position regardless. He a big man of ego. He got a big ego. It might take some serious convincing, but at the end of the day, just like when they kept on accusing him, oh, he ain't gonna leave the White House. That's stupid. Of course, the
Right,
motherfucker walked away and got on the fucking
right,
helicopter and left. I mean, you know what I'm saying? But they say stupid stuff. You know what I mean? But regardless, it ain't gonna come down to that anyway because this is, to me, this is just more of the same from the media. You know what I'm saying? That divide and conquer stuff. Oh, we're gonna paint Trump in all the wrong ways we possibly can. So all of a sudden, right after the midterms, oh, Trump didn't do so well in the midterm. Look, Trump wasn't running,
right.
and
Well,
as
the
far
reason
as
they say
and
that
as
because a
far as
lot of
I
these
know,
candidates,
let me finish because I know what you're gonna say. But as far as I know, majority of the individuals that he backed or put his name on got
right?
off what they want. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, there's some places that it didn't that these they call extreme candidates didn't win or whatever. But for the most part, look, I'm in Ohio. I know what happened in Ohio. I seen and I talked about it with my wife all the way leading up to it. But I seen because we would have ended up with a Democratic mayor governor this year. We would have ended up with Nan Whaley. Now, that would have been very dangerous for Ohio to have that lunatic in the office up there.
Agreed.
All right. But we would have had her
So
because Mike DeWine's numbers dropped, and that's why they put her up because they like, oh, we can go to the extreme. Democrats are always stupid. So they run all the way to the extreme and go grab her and run her up against them. Now, at the time, DeWine, he had turned his back on Trump. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So
He
so
was
the,
getting
the, the Republican Party in Ohio was kind of split behind that. You had your base Republicans who were supporting DeWine regardless. And then you had your quote unquote Trump supporting Republicans who was iffy on them, like, and I mean, I don't have to come out and vote for you. You know what I'm saying? But his poll numbers stayed in that category, and of course, he had a support from some Democrats who felt like he handled the pandemic decently. Okay, but that's also why he lost half of his Republicans because he allowed the schools to get shut down and stuff like
But
that.
he did, but he was one of the first ones to open them back up. I
And
mean,
I
he
get
shut,
I get that. I'm not taking stuff
you know,
away from him. It don't
and he
change the
didn't
fact
even
that
shut down long.
the man did some things that split the base.
He did.
And
He
Nan
did.
Nan Whalen was on her way into office in Ohio.
Well, I was going
And
to say
and
publicly
I
for
just want
myself.
I just want to say that when Trump said and went ahead and said I'm giving my support for Mike DeWine and went ahead and gave that man his endorsement, all of a sudden you seen DeWine's poll numbers shoot up to the point where it was like, oh man, she chasing a ghost. They started concentrating more on the Senate race with J.D. Vance and Tim Ryan than they did the governor race because they knew that
Correct.
his numbers shot up between his base, getting the Trump supporters back, and the Democrats and independents who understand and felt like he handled the pandemic correctly. He
Right.
was unbeatable. You
Yes.
see what I'm saying? So they focused on J.D. Vance. And J.D. Vance, the only thing he had going for him
Was
is that
Trump.
he came back around to Trump. Because remember, he
Sure
was
that.
against Trump in a little, you know what I'm saying, and stuff like that a little bit. But he came around and then Trump endorsed him after he came around and said, started agreeing with Trump or something. There's J.D. Vance would not have won without Trump, period.
Facts.
And there's several candidates across this country that's like that. So I don't understand what the media was trying to run to
Well, I
the day
mean,
after the election. That was just more.
but wouldn't you agree that DeSantis really showed something down there on what he did on election night? I mean, the man flipped Dade County. I mean, come on now. The Democrats, that's like certain other parts of the country, like Chicago, it's just automatic Democrat. You know what I mean? He flipped Dade County. You
Yes,
know what I'm
and
saying?
DeSantis is definitely worthwhile when it comes to stuff like that. Listen, I like DeSantis for the same reason that probably a lot of other individuals, especially down there in this state, is liking him. And that's because, there's some key issues that I disagree with that's happening in this country. And it seems like he stands on the same side I stand on when it comes to those issues. Leave our kids alone. You understand? Leave them alone. And y'all know what I'm talking about. I'm telling. Leave our kids alone, man. So yes, I don't care. I don't care if you're a Democrat, Republican, or anything, man. That's a simple understanding, man. Leave our kids alone.
Right.
so
And
I got
and
so I got a question. Since we all stay in the state of Ohio, what's the pros and cons of that? I believe is J.D. Vance that he won.
as far as Ohio goes,
Jim Jordan got backing.
Yeah,
in the Senate.
that's it. This go
Jim
around
Jordan
was
got back.
this go around. The midterms was less of a what's going on in your personal state issue. It was more of a numbers game for Washington D.C. directly. You
Hmm.
know, so the average person probably can't even tell you J.D. Vance's agenda, but you know he's going to vote a certain way, and we're tired of the other stuff that's going on from the other side. That's
Hey,
all. That's all. This whole midterm basically was this go around was it had. I mean, there were some local things or whatever, but there was nothing local about this midterm. This was all about what's going on in D.C.
and I disagree to that in a little bit because you know what I'm saying. Like I said, to me in Ohio, and this is speaking professionally, uh, it benefits me greatly to make sure that Republicans stay in key positions in Ohio right now because my profession's under attack, and I mean, so professionally, it just makes no sense for me to look at
Oh,
that part any other way. Now,
I agree with you. I'm in the
as
same
as
boat as you are.
as far as JD Vance go, you know what I'm saying, and how it might benefit Ohio or how the elections turned out, you know what I'm saying, in Ohio, is because one, with us staying a red state, that almost guarantees us that no matter how bad the economy get, we're still going to be one of the states who's handling it conservative, who's still
Yeah.
trying to fight through it, and is not doing stupid moves, gigantic stupid moves that chances crashing the local economy. You know what I'm
Ohio's always been a profitable state. It's always, even through the
saying?
Depression, Ohio was always less hit than other states because
Yeah, yeah.
it doesn't do like other states. Ohio's all about business.
Now,
All the way.
another thing that does for us, and is that it keeps Ohio amongst the states who's actually participating actively within trying to trying to keep things safe or trying to fight crime. Just say it the way it is. You know what I'm saying? Because we have some states right now that's passing some very suspect laws right now as far as how they're dealing with crime. And Ohio right now safe with crime. And I want to come back around to crime in a minute when we get a chance because Pops, I want to ask you what you thought about Trump speech the night of midterms. The night before midterms, he gave a speech in Dayton, Ohio, and he spoke specifically about a specific agenda that he's going to be championing and pushing for when he gets back in office. And I want to ask y'all about that when we get a chance to come back around to it. But I'm gonna go ahead and turn over.
Uh, well, we can go ahead and talk about that now. I mean, that's all part of the midterms as well. And if you're talking about the part when he's talking about the drug situation and the opiates and everything
Hey,
and the
man,
punishment behind it,
hey,
um,
hold on, real quick before you comment. Since we're going to talk about it, let me tell the people who haven't heard it or didn't watch the speech or anything what we're talking about. All right. So during the speech, Trump made mention that when he get back in office, he's going to be fighting for tougher drug laws up to and including the death penalty for drug offenses. Okay. Then he went on to speak about how when he was president, he had talks with other leaders, and they were having these conversations about what was going on. Oh, what's happening with my life? Uh, I'll fix that in a minute. But yeah, so they were having he was talking about how he's talking with other leaders and stuff, and I think he spoke about a dude over in Korea specifically, and he was talking about how dude don't have no crime, or he asked about the drug thing, and he said, "You don't really I don't have those problems." And he went into the whole speech about quick trials and stuff, and how they kill them, they kill them and send the bullet to the family. We ain't playing that. But anyway, but Trump wasn't necessarily advocating that far, but he was advocating the death penalty. He was advocating the death penalty for drug offenses. And I just want to get y'all opinion on that. And I know where I stand and how I got some I got some words for it, but I want to get y'all opinion on that as far as how y'all feel about the man advocating for death penalty
I
for drug
want to
offenses.
I want to say me myself, and this is the way that I look at the drug situation. Okay, to me, and I want to start off by saying that as, on something like that, and I heard that, and I would have to hear a little more to see if he backs up off of it any at all, because I would jump off the ship personally with my support behind that issue if he was to run, because we have been in the mode of zero tolerance, and zero tolerance is part of the reason we're in the situation we're in now. Okay, to me, you have two sides of the drug problem. You have the person who's using and their issues that come along with it, and you have the person that I call them distributors because they ain't dealing shit, and the issues that come along with them. Right now, we have both of them because zero tolerance has evolved into this. Because one thing is for sure, and there's no way around it until culturally or morally we change how we look at life, is America likes to get high. Period. And if you're going to go on the hard drugs like that,
Wait a minute. Hold on. Stop. Hold on. You might want to back up a couple words. We got some kind of technical difficulties going on. I see it with the lighting where it's flickering, but then you froze up and your conversation flickered. So back up a little bit.
okay, uh, like I said, one of the problems with America is that America likes to get high. Period. A zero tolerance policy, for one, your reefer going to have to disappear, and all your other drugs, because you can't say it's okay to get a little buzz, but don't accept all buzzes. To me, I would rather deal with the problems and put the money into trying to medically help people who want to not use, and have the government just take over distribution of it. Then that way we lose this random gangster shit that got these streets like they are. So to me, you have to choose one evil or the other.
But that ain't necessarily true. I mean, we can look at things like alcohol and know that
Prohibition, mom.
hold on. I mean, but hold on. Let me finish what I'm saying. I mean, we can tell that that's not necessarily true. We can look at alcohol and, yes, I can go to the liquor store and I can go buy me some liquor. But I'm not going to go to the liquor store and I'm not going to be able to go buy me no 100 proof liquor. I ain't that they don't sell that here in Ohio. You know what I'm saying? Now, I
I
heard
mean,
there's some places in Kentucky where you can get some stronger proof liquor or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying,
people go get it.
it's regulated. Majority of the liquor that we see, I don't even drink no more, but majority of the liquor that we that we see, I want to say is like it'd be like 17% alcohol. You know what I mean? It ain't.
Okay,
It's
okay.
very low. It's not like It's not like it's legal for these places
I
to
don't.
be
I don't.
selling the public some. So the idea that like reefer being legal like it is in many places right now and heroin not being legal is not so far fetched.
I disagree. Dope is dope. Dope is dope, man. I don't
Okay,
give
but
that.
see,
That's why when I was out, years ago, I didn't disrespect nobody that I was dealing with. Just because I smoke reefer and you smoke crack, nigga, you still a person. That's just your high you choose. You know what I'm saying? So I strongly disagree, because once you start segregating and saying one high is acceptable than the other, you have to. That still leaves the door open for progression, and you're going to continue getting further away from your zero tolerance. You either got to have it all or
yeah,
none.
but
In between has is where we're at today.
you're the one talking about zero tolerances and stuff like that.
The death penalty for it?
I mean, he advocated it. Now,
Okay. For what?
to what extent and all of that of what he has in his mind, what he's really referring to, we would have to hear more on the topic from him. But that doesn't indicate zero tolerance. I mean, if you have a law that says this your tenth time that we're sentencing you for the same offense. Yes, we sending you through the whole process of going to the death penalty and trying to appeal that shit because we tired of dealing with you on the exact same thing. That's not necessarily zero tolerance. That
But
just that is just saying that the death penalty is involved at some point is what I'm hearing. Is that I'm not hearing, oh, you get caught with a vial you get caught with a 20 sack of crack and you going to the death penalty. That's not what I'm hearing when he's saying that. Yes, I understand the comparison that he made when he was talking about the dude in Korea, as far as that's how strong they deal with stuff. You know what I'm saying? But that's not what he was advocating necessarily in that speech from the words that he said. The man already suffers enough from people putting words in his mouth. I try not to be one of those
no,
people.
I don't find no offense to what he said. Don't get me wrong now. I don't find no offense to what he said. It's just the way a lot of people be surprised. But Mr. he lives a very clean life. You know what I mean? As far as like, what I'm saying, drugs, alcohol. He like any other man out here. He got a weakness for pussy, but other than that, you know what I'm saying? He lives a pretty clean life, when it comes to that. So by him saying the death penalty, I understand that it ain't going there now, but see, everything has a progression. And once you take one step towards something, it adjusts the population to get used to that for one, and two, opens up the door for cranking down some more to get to zero tolerance. Yeah, he can't do like that other country did because that other country's probably been like that since day one. But you're talking about taking something away from Americans and putting more discipline on them to make them not do what you don't want them to do, which is get high. Which I agree. But that should be done culturally. And then we put in help to help the people that do get hooked on it. The government fucking distributes it out through dispensaries so it's good and clean and under control. And we lose all these and all these hoods go away, all that money, man, you putting everybody who deal dope in bankruptcy in 90 days. The government taking over. You can't beat my prices. It's clean, it's safe, and it's always available. So now you're putting all of them out of business overnight.
Regardless of how it gets dealt with, I mean, look, one thing I will agree with as far as the sentiment that the overall tone of what he's talking about when he makes comments like that is that, all jokes aside, we have a serious issue in this country when it comes to drugs and the drug environment, the things that come along with it. That yes, we are to the point where we actually need an extreme thinking leader on the issue. We can't just keep. I mean, look, they done turned it now into, of course, it happened when a lot of white folks started, dying off from it and stuff, but they turned it into a health issue and a health crisis issue and trying to handle, now it's handling everything with kid gloves and enabling. We Listen, I seen what it was like growing up with dope all around you. And more importantly, I seen the results of what happened when a lot of those kids and stuff that was being raised into those environments that are now adults and everything. Look, we have a broken system when it comes to these drugs and stuff. And
What's
yeah,
the cause?
it
What's the
is time.
cause of that system, though, Mumbles?
It
Well,
is.
you know what I'm saying? What's the cause of it? That's what I'm asking. The problem is identified. You identified the problem
Yes.
well. Yeah, dope around you. But you know what I'm saying? You got the dope. You got the fiends. You got the gangsters. You
Yes.
got the dealers.
Yes.
No, hold on, man, because zero tolerance is fine if you're willing to live under that.
I don't know
But
about that.
that you can't. Hey, like I said before, getting high is getting high. You can't sit up here and say a reefer high is cool, but a heroin high isn't. Yeah, of course,
Why not? Why
you
not?
can't.
Why
Because
not?
a
It's
high is a high. A mind change is a mind change.
listen.
You
It's like
think
listen. You want to speak mythologically. I want to talk reality. That is a reality that we live in the world today, right now. Take your butt to Michigan, get pulled over with some reefer, or get pulled over with some heroin. See which one you're going to jail for. So don't say that
yeah,
we can't tell people what's legal and what's not legal. We
we
have
can.
legalized marijuana. We
Right,
don't have legalized crack. We
right,
don't have
right.
legalized heroin. We don't have legalized fentanyl. We don't have listen. So there's and even within the league and even in the places where marijuana is still legal, there's still now we still even have these drug scales that they
Right.
place everything on. So where if it's a 1, 2, or 3, I believe it was. So I mean,
Yeah.
so let's not act like we're not smart enough. People in general ain't smart enough to understand the differences between this stuff and to
No,
act
no.
accordingly or make laws accordingly. So all I'm saying is just circle back around. All I'm saying is that it might be time for something extreme as far as on the punishment side of things. It
For
might
what
not be
drug?
it might not be to the point of death penalties and all that he was
Right.
talking about, but it may be to the point of trying to get extreme with stuff.
Mumble,
That's all I'm agreeing with.
mumble. What drugs are you gonna put in that category?
What do you mean?
What drugs are you gonna put in the category of needing more enforcement?
The ones that's already in the category.
Okay, so that's cool. So let me ask you this. Let me play devil's advocate with you, okay? Okay? So let's say a motherfucker sitting up here, what I'm saying, snorting cocaine and shit, still going to work, still being productive, but he likes snorting cocaine. That's the high he likes. But now, what I'm saying, we're tightening down laws to get rid of that stuff and tighten down on it. Why is it fair for you to smoke your reefer mumbles and them people who drink that liquor? Why is it cool for y'all to get fucked up on that, but it ain't cool for me to get fucked up on what I like?
Because it's legal.
Exactly.
It's legal.
Exactly. That's why
Exactly. So
him.
what's your point? I'm answering
That's
your
why
question with my.
I'm telling you. That's why him making that statement, I would disagree because I see him turning his back in the other direction. Like I said, I am one that says I would rather deal with the addiction aspect of it on the medical side, and we take the gangsterism out of it. And legalization does that. The government takes over distribution. You still it's still a case of until America doesn't want to get high no more, it's going to be here. So you
Listen,
have to have a way to deal
or
with it
or
and control
until
it.
or until the laws are taken serious enough.
So
Listen,
you're gonna make America sing for
you
it.
keep going around the point. Listen, it's
Then
against the
why didn't
law.
prohibition work?
Say what?
Why didn't prohibition work?
Man, listen. You're going back to prohibition. I'm talking about the here and now. Okay,
We're worse now than we were then.
you keep talking about how it's how you going to treat them different. And what I'm saying is that it's already treated different. Okay. Now, if enough people, as you state, want to use cocaine or whatever, then they need to work with their representatives and get it legalized. Just like enough people who wanted marijuana legal worked with their representatives over the years, and it's getting legalized in various places. So that point that you're making, as far as just legalizing it all, whatever, listen, that might be a step by step process, and that's not something that the whole country's going to be ready for, because there's people with real family members that's really been affected by fentanyl, heroin, and stuff. Not
I
saying
agree.
not saying that marijuana ain't causes problems and alcohol ain't causes problems, but we understand, you know what I'm saying? So getting that legalized and all that's not where the country's gonna go with it. You know what I'm saying? But it is illegal for certain things and the illegal culture that comes with it. And if listen,
I just think you're I just feel like you're contradicting
I know
yourself. You
for a
sitting
fact.
over
Listen,
there like shit. The shit I like is legal, nigga. I could give two fucks. That's the
yeah,
way I'm taking your conversation.
you say that until you say that until you sitting in prison and you see enough people sitting in prison or you see enough people getting the quote unquote death penalty for certain things. Listen, people, law abiding citizens don't break the law. intentionally on purpose on a regular basis.
The
It's
hell
not
we
what
don't.
it's not what we do.
No,
I
we
ain't talking
don't.
about traffic
That's
laws.
that's
But listen,
the severity of the laws we don't break.
listen. What I'm saying is that you will have, for example, how you gonna have a crackhead when you don't have nobody who's willing to sell it to him? I'm not gonna be willing. I'm not gonna be willing to go and buy this dope and go sell it because I know when I get caught, they're not playing with me. It only the real street niggas, the real thugs and gangsters gonna be out there playing in that game. Be just like the murder game and everything else. Only that's the only ones that's gonna be playing the game. You ain't gonna have everybody and their mama thinking that they Frank Lucas or something. It's not gonna happen because the penalties are too stiff. And you got people out here who really don't want those penalties in their lives. They're gonna
I agree
find
with
other
that.
ways.
I agree with that. I mean, I'm all for more. I'm just saying, you got to have one way or the other. Because where it's at now, and something got to happen because, and we need to change our culture, our thinking, because we are on some BS as a. I mean, I don't know about anybody else, y'all, out there in the world, but I'm 48 years old. I tell you what, my cutoff used to be 25. I done upped it 5 years. Anything under 30, I'm watching out for. You know.
What about increase? Because I feel like one of the big problems in America is addiction. And what about those countries that offer people to get their fix, but in an environment where professionals is there, like they got doctors and nurses there to help you just in case. I forgot. I don't know if you do that, but was a doctor that went on the Breakfast Club that was talking about that. And people who want to do meth and stuff to the place to do it, because regardless if people know it's the fact that it's legal, that it's illegal, that make people really.
Well, I mean, the drug thing is crazy. Like I said, that's just somebody who's helping him. He's coming up a way of trying. People have medical problems. They get high for various different reasons, emotionally, physically, whatever. The problem that America has with it is the other side of it that comes with it. You know, the crime behind it, the way certain areas look. But you know, until we change how we think of it and treat it as a society, it's only going to get worse. Us as a society, we have evolved into this. We as we think, as long as it don't affect me, you can do what you want to do. But see, people are wrong. Everything that someone else does affects you. We are a community. Even if you don't know nobody on your street, you're still a community of people on that street. And everything that someone around you does affect you. If your neighbor does something that's petty, don't never cut his fucking grass, it's affecting you. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like a lot of the things that we talk about and we deal with and situations come up, all we're dealing with the symptoms of it because nobody is willing to talk about the solving the problem and the cause of it. And the cause of it is our morals and the way we live right now is fucked up. We promote the wrong things, we accept the wrong shit, and it has all of us thinking fucked up right now. That is causing all this bullshit that's going on in our lives. And until we all stand up, because to live right is hard. It's easy to let a motherfucker do whatever they want to do. That's easy shit.
Mhm.
Living right's the motherfucker. And there's a line of right. And then how far you are on it away from that line kind of determines your life, right? We've allowed that line to become a fucking 10-mile wide piece of line. So and no matter what you do is considered all right, and and our roles in life have become blurred. People don't know. Um, You know, racism, classism, motherfuckism, all this has evolved to where we're at today. And I know that if we don't get some kind of correct path up under us, it's all going to crumble. And you can make good money in this country. I don't want to see it fuck up.